The phone call came from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. "Is this Rebecca Hayes?" The woman's voice was professional but concerned. "I'm calling from the Autism Support Foundation. We need to speak with you about a fundraising campaign that's been using your son Ethan's name and image." My blood went cold. What fundraising campaign? That's what we're trying to determine. Someone's been collecting donations in Ethan's name for the past 8 months, claiming the money is for medical treatments and therapy. We've verified over $47,000 in contributions. But when we reached out to coordinate services, we discovered you have no knowledge of this campaign. I looked at my 7-year-old son, sitting at the kitchen table doing his homework, completely unaware that someone had been using his autism diagnosis to steal money from strangers. "I don't know anything about this," I whispered. "Who's running it?" She gave me the name on the GoFundMe account, the Facebook page, the charity registration, Patricia Hayes, my mother-in-law. What happened over the next 72 hours didn't just expose a crime. It revealed that my husband's family had been using my son's disability as a cash machine while I worked 3 jobs to actually pay for his therapy. Before I tell you how a charity investigation exposed family exploitation and a fundraising scam became a criminal case, hit like and tell me, have you ever discovered family was using your child or your struggle for financial gain without your knowledge? Because that week, I learned that the people most eager to share your pain publicly are sometimes the ones profiting from it privately. They say it takes a village to raise a child. But sometimes the village is stealing from the child they're pretending to help. My name is Rebecca Hayes. I'm 34, and my son Ethan is the most important person in my life. Ethan was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder when he was 3. He's verbal, incredibly smart, has specific interests he can talk about for hours, and needs structured support with social situations and sensory processing. He goes to occupational therapy twice a week, speech therapy once a week, and attends a school with a strong special education program. It's expensive. Insurance covers some, but not all. I work full-time as a nurse, pick up weekend shifts when I can, and my husband Jason works in IT. We make it work, but it's tight. Jason's family never fully accepted Ethan's diagnosis. His mother, Patricia, treated autism like a tragedy that happened to her, not a neurological difference that Ethan simply has. She'd post on Facebook about her brave grandson battling autism, sharing photos of Ethan with captions about praying for a cure. I'd asked her to stop. Repeatedly. Ethan isn't broken. He doesn't need prayers for a cure. He needs acceptance, support, and people to respect his privacy. She'd smile, nod, and keep posting. Jason's sister Michelle was worse. She'd bring Ethan to family gatherings and parade him in front of guests, narrating his behaviors like he was a documentary subject. "See how he lines up his toys? That's the autism." As if Ethan couldn't hear her, as if he wasn't a person standing right there. I'd limited contact over the past year. Supervised visits only. No overnight stays, no unsupervised photo opportunities. What I didn't know was that Patricia had been running an entire fundraising operation using Ethan's name, face, and diagnosis for the better part of a year. After the charity called, I did what any mother would do. I searched for my son's name online. What I found made me physically sick. A GoFundMe page. Help Ethan Hayes get the treatment he needs. The description was heartbreaking, written in Patricia's voice, describing Ethan as severely autistic. He's not nonverbal. He absolutely is verbal, and in desperate need of experimental treatments his parents can't afford. There were photos, dozens of them. Pictures of Ethan the first he'd ever seen before, clearly taken during family visits. Photos of him during meltdowns, during difficult moments, during private struggles that should never have been public. The GoFundMe had raised $28,000. But that wasn't all. There was a Facebook page, Ethan's Journey, a mother's prayer for her grandson. Patricia had been posting almost daily. Photos of Ethan, stories about his challenges, pleas for donations for life-changing therapy and medical interventions, links to a PayPal account, links to Venmo. The page had 3,400 followers, strangers from around the country commenting with prayers, encouragement, and notifications that they'd donated. I checked PayPal. The account was in Patricia's name, but used Ethan's photo as the profile picture. Then I found the charity registration. Patricia had registered a nonprofit called Ethan's Hope Foundation with the state, listing herself as executive director. The foundation's mission: providing critical support for children with autism and their families. She'd created an entire charity using my son's name and identity. I called the Autism Support Foundation back. "I need everything you have on this." The woman I'd spoken to earlier, Jennifer Park was the foundation's fraud investigation coordinator. They'd started looking into Ethan's Hope after someone applied for assistance, claiming they were affiliated. The amounts didn't add up, Jennifer explained. They claimed to have raised over $50,000, but were applying for a $2,000 grant, so we started digging. What they found: GoFundMe, $28,340 raised. All funds withdrawn to Patricia's personal bank account. No evidence of money spent on Ethan's therapy or medical care. Facebook donations, estimated $12,000 through PayPal and Venmo over 8 months. Again, all to Patricia's personal accounts. Ethan's Hope Foundation grants. The foundation had received $7,500 in donations from local businesses and community members. The money was supposed to fund autism support programs. Instead, it went to Patricia's personal account. Total, over $47,000 raised using Ethan's name, face, and disability. Where did the money go? I asked. Jennifer pulled up bank records they'd subpoenaed. Vacation to Hawaii, new car down payment, designer purchases, home renovations. None of it went to autism services. Can I get copies of all of this? We're required to report this to the authorities, Jennifer said. This is charity fraud. And because it involves a minor whose image was used without parental consent, there are additional charges possible. I want to press charges, I said immediately. All of them. I didn't call first. I showed up at Patricia's house with printed copies of everything: the GoFundMe, the Facebook posts, the foundation registration, the bank records showing where the money went. Jason was with me. He'd been silent since I showed him the evidence that morning, processing that his mother had exploited his son for money. Patricia opened the door with a smile. Rebecca, what a surprise! We need to talk about the $47,000 you stole using Ethan's name. Her face went pale. I don't know what you're... I held up the GoFundMe printout. Help Ethan Hayes get the treatment he needs. You raised $28,000 claiming Ethan needed experimental therapy. He doesn't. He gets excellent therapy that we pay for ourselves. I was trying to help. You took a vacation to Hawaii, Jason said quietly. His voice was shaking. You bought a car. You renovated your kitchen. With money people donated thinking they were helping our son. Michelle appeared from the living room. Mom, what's going on? Your mother, I said, turning to her, has been running a charity scam using Ethan. Did you know about this? Michelle's face told me everything. She knew. We were raising awareness, Michelle said defensively, for autism, to help families. You weren't helping anyone, I interrupted. You were using my son's face, his disability, his private struggles to get strangers to send you money. Then you spent it on yourselves. Patricia's composure cracked. I deserve compensation. Do you know how hard it is, having a grandson with autism? The stress I've been under? He's not your grandson to profit from, Jason said. He's our son. And you stole from people who thought they were helping him. I opened the folder I'd brought. The Autism Support Foundation has filed a report with the State Attorney General's office. They're investigating charity fraud. I laid out the bank statements. This shows every withdrawal. Hawaii, $8,000. Car down payment, $12,000. Nordstrom, Target, Home Depot, another $15,000. None of it went to Ethan. Patricia sat down heavily. People gave that money willingly, under false pretenses, I said. You told them Ethan was nonverbal. He's not. You said he needed experimental treatments he couldn't access. He doesn't. You posted photos of him during meltdowns without permission to generate sympathy donations. I'm his grandmother. You exploited a disabled child for financial gain, Jason said. That's what the Attorney General is calling it. That's what the police will call it when they press charges. Michelle's voice was small. Police? Wire fraud. Charity fraud. Exploitation of a minor. Unauthorized use of a child's image for commercial purposes. I'd memorized the list the attorney had given me. The Autism Support Foundation is cooperating fully with law enforcement. I'll pay it back, Patricia said desperately. Every penny. Just don't. It's not about the money anymore, Jason said. It's about what you did to Ethan. How you used him. How you shared his private moments with thousands of strangers to make yourself look like a martyr. I pulled out the final document, a cease and desist letter from my attorney. You will take down all social media posts featuring Ethan. You will close the GoFundMe. You will dissolve Ethan's Hope Foundation. You will not use his name, image, or story ever again. And you will never see him again, Jason added. Not supervised. Not at holidays. Not ever. You're done. The Attorney General's office moved faster than I expected. Within 3 weeks, Patricia was charged with charity fraud and theft by deception. Michelle was charged as an accomplice for helping run the social media accounts. They pleaded guilty as part of a deal. Patricia was ordered to repay all $47,000 to the donors, perform 200 hours of community service, and serve 2 years probation. Michelle got probation and a fine. Both were permanently banned from operating or managing any charitable organization in the state. The GoFundMe money was recovered and returned to donors. The local businesses who donated to Ethan's Hope Foundation were reimbursed, but the real impact was the permanent restraining order. Patricia and Michelle were legally prohibited from posting about Ethan, using his image, or contacting him in any way. Jason's father, who genuinely hadn't known what Patricia was doing, was allowed supervised visits. He'd been horrified when he found out, had offered to testify against her if needed. "I didn't raise her to do this," he told us, crying. "Using a child. Your child. I'm so sorry." Ethan doesn't know the full story. He knows Grandma Patricia made bad choices and can't visit anymore, but we've shielded him from the details. He shouldn't have to carry the weight of how he was exploited. His therapy continues. We actually have more resources now. Several of the donors who got their money back sent it to us directly with notes saying they still wanted to help Ethan, just through the right channels. We put it in a trust fund for him, for college or whatever he needs in the future. Managed by a third party, transparent, legal. I've become an advocate in the autism community about image privacy and exploitation. I speak to parents about protecting their children's stories, about the risks of oversharing, about how vulnerability can be weaponized. Your child's diagnosis isn't your content, I tell them. Their struggles aren't your story to monetize. Some people think I'm harsh, that I'm judging parents who share their journeys. But I've seen what happens when sharing becomes exploitation, when awareness becomes a business, when a child's disability becomes someone else's profit margin. If this story resonated, drop a comment. Where are you listening from? And have you ever discovered someone was using your child or your story for financial gain without permission? This is Calm Verdict Stories. I'm Rebecca. And this is what happens when family weaponizes vulnerability and charity investigations expose the truth. To every parent protecting their child's privacy and story, you're not being overprotective, you're being a parent. Their dignity isn't negotiable, even for family.